Good afternoon. It is News Radio 1029 KARN. I am your host, Brad Schmidt. It is Free Speech Friday today. Anything you want to talk about is fair game. Any topics you want to bring up, any questions you want to ask, I will do my best to be as open and honest and transparent about those questions as possible. I do have a few things that I no longer share on the radio because one time some idiot decided it was a good idea to threaten my wife over something I said. So I'm a little more careful with some of the more private information. But beyond that, I will do my best to answer any question and share as much about me as I can. So anything you want to talk about today, like I said, is fair game. And of course, there's a lot going on and a lot to talk about. It's interesting. The news cycle of late has been a little dull, right? I mean, we've had the Trump court cases and Israel protests, and that's about it. Like, that's all we had for about 2 weeks. But there's more going on now. There's a little bit more happening around the world. Apparently, Hillary Clinton was out there stumping for Joe Biden, which is somewhat comical all by itself. Marjorie Taylor Greene yesterday, or not yesterday, was it 2 days ago? Failed in her bid to oust Speaker Mike Johnson. And we've got some legislative shenanigans going on in our own state. Yesterday, the House adjourned before they were able to pass some bills as far as and it was related to the Game and Fish Department and their budget and things like that. But so we can talk about some of that today. There's all kinds of stuff going on there. There's a story a texter sent me through Facebook Messenger. Just said that, hey, I want to, voice my concerns about the case of the missing girl. She's 15 years old from Hot Springs a few days ago. Seems strange that there was no Amber Alert issued. Haven't seen much coverage on it. Is the FBI involved and so on? It appears as if this may be a case of a runaway. So I don't know what the rules are on issuing Amber Alerts and things like that. I don't know here in Arkansas. I don't know what the state laws are. I know in North Dakota, until a child was 18 years old, and that's just because that's where I raised my kids. Until a child is 18 years old, you can call the police and have them brought home. Like, they don't have a right to just run away and not come home. You can actually have the police arrest them or apprehend them or whatever and bring them home. And that is how the law works. I don't know what guardianship laws and things like that exist here in Arkansas. So this will be an interesting one. According to the news report from KARK, our news partner, they said, talking about, some of her live, she's a sweet kid, blah, blah, blah. And it says she has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt how extremely upset the setting was, and we want to work on it, and we will work on it. According to the apparently, I think this is the father. The father said that the family had an argument Sunday night. They thought everything was okay, but come Tuesday morning, they found her bedroom empty, and it appears as if she may have run away. So I don't know if there's anything that is restricted on Amber Alerts or whatnot. So certainly we could talk about that. Of course, if you've seen her, or if you've not seen her, there's a picture of her on KARK's website. Her name is Annabelle Rose. That's her last name is Rose. Annabelle Rose says she's 5'4", brown hair, brown eyes, could be wearing a backwards hat and a camouflaged hoodie. She was last seen walking their dog. I'm assuming it doesn't say anything about the dog being missing. It sounds like the dog is maybe back home again. But yeah, she was last seen wearing a T-shirt that had a cartoon of an alien autopsy on it. So yeah, if you've seen her, contact the authorities, contact the police, the sheriff's department, whoever you need to contact on that. So that could be, hopefully there's a positive ending to that, a good outcome for that. Another local story, Chris Jones, former gubernatorial candidate Chris Jones, is suing Arkansas State Senator Bart Hester because apparently Hester accused Jones of taking a, quote, pro-Hamas terrorist position on Twitter about the protests and the Palestinian pro-Palestinian protests and things on college campuses around the country. So now Chris Jones is suing. I don't know if he's suing for defamation or what he's actually suing about or suing for. But in the statement that he released, he said, "Today I filed a civil lawsuit against Bart Hester." Oh yeah, I guess for defamation with malice. This case is about protecting civil public discourse. It is about an apparent inability to have a grown-up conversation without someone defaming the other person. The president of the Arkansas Senate should engage in vigorous debate about ideas and policies. However, they do not get to use their platform to lie about and slander citizens of the state who hold different views. Make no mistake, this case is not about money. If it were, Senator Hester would not be the one to sue. The case is bigger than politics. This is about human decency and making bullying with false rhetoric a costly endeavor. We tried other routes to correct this wrong quietly in the way gentlemen should handle their differences. Bart chose confrontation, and so he will have it. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts on that because, quite honestly, anyone supporting any of these pro-Hamas protests and demonstrations on college campuses, you are literally supporting an organization that is labeled by the United States government a terrorist organization. Hamas is considered, according to basically every definition, a terrorist organization. And anybody that says, well, but we're supporting Palestine and not Hamas and blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine, but you got to remember, the Palestinian people overwhelmingly voted for Hamas to be their leadership. They overwhelmingly engaged Hamas to be their leadership as a city, state, or whatever they are. So supporting Palestine is essentially supporting Hamas. So it's interesting that Chris Jones would take this approach. I feel like this is it's odd. It seems to me that if you are setting your sights on higher political office, that this might not be the best look. I'm going to sue someone over a tweet. Now, we can talk all day long about whether Hester was acting appropriately or with professionalism, because I think that's a fair question as well. I mean, should the president of the Arkansas Senate be claiming that Jones is taking a pro-Hamas terrorist position? I mean, I don't really have a problem with it. I don't really care. And quite honestly, if someone said something similar about me on Twitter, I wouldn't really care either. I mean, this is the nature of Twitter. This is the nature of online debates. You can argue on the internet. I don't remember who it was. They said arguing on the internet is like making out with your girlfriend in the mall food court. You can do it, but it still makes you a douchebag. So, you can say whatever you want on Twitter, and it doesn't really, make you a criminal, but it also doesn't really make you, one of the most well-liked and respected members of society. So, I mean, there's some fair discussion to be had there, but defamation with malice seems a bit extreme, if I'm honest. So, 501-403-KRN, 501-403-5276 if you want to join the conversation. Of course, the roast of Tom Brady, I've had this on my show sheet for the last couple of days, and I'll be honest, I didn't watch it. I don't really care too much about these celebrity roasts, but I want to hear from you. I don't get it. I don't understand the whole celebrity roast thing. I don't get how it's funny. Back in the day when the guys like Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. and whatnot, and they did the roasts, they were funny because they were lighthearted and they weren't so mean and cruel. Nowadays, it's borderline disturbing, some of the jokes that are made. So I'd like to maybe I'm just a prude or an old fuddy-duddy. I don't know. I don't get the roast thing, at least not the modern day ones. So we'll continue with the Schmidt Show and a whole lot more next on News Radio 102.9 KRN.